In my keynote, I mentioned the debate I had with Jack Ma 10 years ago on the future of e-commerce. The word big data didn't even exist then. So people now have been talking about the data set, but also the tool set they have to look at the data set, the skill set, but none of that matters. What really is important is the mindset. The mindset of being data literate, not data driven. I think data driven is bullshit. I don't want to be driven by data. I want an organization that is people driven, but not people driven based on beliefs, but based on experiments and the results of experiments. So the question is, are the companies that have data in their DNA, like Google, Amazon, Facebook, are they going better and better at data, basing more and more decisions on data? And those companies that don't have it natively in their DNA, are they falling behind? What are the bottlenecks? So I think one important ingredient is the mindset of wanting to know, of being curious, of asking questions, asking many questions, and wanting to find out the answers, which is very different from the CYA mentality some traditional companies have, that they only want to look at data when it supports the points they were making anyways. So curiosity and the breed of data scientists that we see coming up everywhere. For example, at the University of California at Berkeley, we have an online data science program. Those data scientists are people who love to be like data detectives, figure out what's in there in the data, who love to tell stories about it, but also, and that's a very big difference to traditional statisticians, like to collaborate. There is this new profession of data scientists. And you might be wondering, what makes a data scientist a data scientist? So I think one thing is they're curious people. They're people with questions. They want to find out things. They also don't run away from data, but they run towards data. They want to handle large data sets as opposed to saying, oh, I need to call somebody who can do it for me. More importantly, they love to collaborate. They understand that it's not one person testing a hypothesis, but it's that interaction with other people, how new questions get created, new answers get formed, which lead to new questions again. So that mindset of curiosity, of wanting to know, that's also where my heart is. That's why I teach, where I try to have the students understand how to ask good questions. Let me give you a brief history of privacy. There was no privacy. People lived together on small grounds. Everybody knew what everybody else was doing. Inventions were made. Cities were created. Chimneys were invented. So people could shut the door without getting too cold in the winter, because the heating could actually be getting oxygen from the outside. Then there was privacy. Another set of inventions were made. Facebook, Google Glass. And now all we have is an illusion of privacy. So what choice do we have? We can embrace that we have no privacy and often say transparency is the new privacy, meaning that let's actually be transparent. Let's have our customers discover what they want, as opposed to pushing things down their throat they don't want, but we might want. And let's understand how we can genuinely create two-way conversations, not a fake one-way mirror where the company can look at the customer naked and the customer is denied seeing actually what's going on in the company. No, let's have windows where both parties can see each other. Companies made money by having information asymmetries. The used car dealer who knows all about that car but is not going to tell you that the car was in an accident. Now, think about today's successful companies, Google, Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, they're all companies that are actually data refineries that take your data and combine what you give to them with other data they have, often from other people, and now provide you with an experience that you couldn't have otherwise. So it is refining the data that people created and share. And what I mean willingly and knowingly, I don't mean sniffing the digital exhaust. Well, that is, I think, what the successful companies do now, and I call them data refineries. Just a few years ago, I gave a talk to the UN's General Assembly, and we talked about data is the new oil. And what we meant by that was it is the raw material from which basically we run the world. In the last century, that used to be oil. Now, I think data is taking an as important role as oil has. But we need to refine it. We need to build products that people want to use and people want to pay for. When I'm brought into organizations, they tell me, look, we have all the data. What do we do with it? And I tell them, don't start with the data. Start with a question. Because if you don't have a question, you don't even know when you get an answer. Start with a question and also start with writing down a function, an equation of business, a fitness function that tells you how good your answer is. And once you have that, you can run the engine of innovation called the internet, where you have fast feedback loops, where you can run experiments and you get the answers back. You evaluate them against the fitness function and you learn. What used to take months or at least weeks now takes hours, in some cases minutes. So if you think about it, at the heart of innovation, data for the last 15, 20 years has been at the heart of innovation.